We all have that friend that doesn't call you, they text you, right? But when they do call you, you know something is seriously up. Well, that's how my morning started this morning when Kenny Powers of Old Man's Garage called me and said, "Hey, you guys busy in the shop? I've got a huge favor to ask you." "What's up, Kenny Powers?" Yes, you did. Here we go.
Well, welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today, I'm working on Robert's Chevrolet 2500 HD pickup truck. This thing is showed up here today on a random act of chance. Robert and his wife are fans of Old Man's Garage, and they called him up asking if they could help them get out of a bind. Basically, they were driving home to Rochester, New York, and they ran into a little bit of a problem on their way. Luckily, they are okay. But their truck is not. So we're gonna see what we can do to get them back on the road and hopefully get them home and running. It is Friday at noon. Let's see if we can get these guys back on the road, get their car trailer picked back up, and moving back on their way home. If you want to see what we do with this truck, stick around, click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. Like a turkey leg. This probably won't be very easy for you guys to see everything I'm doing. I don't have any good places on these new trucks to hang my magnetic lights, but we'll do what we can do to bring you along for the ride. Basically, these guys were running down the freeway with a enclosed car trailer with a Ranchero in it. I think it was a Ranchero. That was his father's car he had just picked up, and bringing it home from wherever they were bringing it home from to Rochester, New York. And they hit the outer belt here in 270, and the wheel popped off. Yeah. They came grinding to a halt. They didn't lose the trailer. They didn't roll the truck. To my knowledge, they didn't soil their pants. But I would totally understand if they did. They had a heck of a ride. We're gonna put a few things on here and see if we can get this thing sorted out. Shouldn't be too bad. I've got a ball joint. I actually have a whole lower control arm if I decide I need it, but that's a big cast unit. I don't think I will. ABS sensor's broken. I'm not worried about that at the moment. We do have a new brake line, a new upper control arm, new ball joint, new half shaft, new inner and outer tie rod ends, and then we'll go from there, see what else we need. Let's get this thing apart. Let me grab some tools. Alright, let's start by getting this guy out of the way. Let's try not to get covered in grease while we're doing it. I don't think my bolt cutters will cut through that. That's probably enough. Great, you bugger. Fighting me. I always win. See? Alright, now we get that all out of the way. Oh, they brought some road with them. Oh, there's a hole in the tire. Big surprise. That wheel will be alright. It'll be just fine. We'll even put the hubcap back on when we're done. Lots of winning going on today. Made a good break. Sharpened it like a knife. Somebody just did brakes on this truck. Well, that makes it easier to get the ball joints off, I guess. What a mess. Got it. Gravity helping out today. Gravity brought them to an abrupt stop, actually. Does that from time to time. Let's see if we can get this upper control arm out of here. That's gonna be... that may not be fun. Let's get those upper control arm eccentrics done. Get you into frame. That'll probably be better. I'm sitting here looking at the damage on this truck, and I'm in awe. Because you're driving down the freeway, and the scenario that probably happened here was the upper ball joint let loose. So you're driving along, your upper ball joint let loose, your steering gets a little funny, so you touch the brakes. When you touch the brakes, your wheel kicks forward, your tie rod end goes down, which pulls the front of the wheel in, and then the tire comes to an abrupt stop when it hits the frame, or the bumper, or the front balance. And then it just folds underneath the truck, disengages the drive shaft and the lower ball joint. The wheel plops under the control arm, and it slides to a stop. Like, this could have been so much worse, especially considering they had a big old loaded trailer on the back. The fact that that wheel ended up underneath the control arm is amazing. It's a true testament to the strength of the inner tie rod end that GM put on this thing, because that's pretty darn impressive, I gotta say. I'm going to go ahead and press my lower ball joint out. I'm going to pull my upper control arm. I'm going to pull my inner tie rod end, and then I'm going to hang some new parts on this thing and get them back on the road. I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. This brake line got pinched a little bit. I'll straighten it out. It may be okay. If not, I'll just make a quick line for that guy. Get our brakes bled. Put a half shaft in it. Put a brake hose on it. Put it back together. Seems simple enough. Let me get my tools. Of course, I said that before taking my upper control arms off. Oh. Whew. Let's get some jack stands. I don't feel like having this fall on me. Oh. There you go. No, I don't need a 12-ton jack stand under this truck, but I have 12-ton jack stands, so I use them. I used to use those on the international 42 and 4300s that I used to work on for AmeriGas. That was a long time ago, though. I don't really care for working on those big trucks anymore. So I don't. Alright. I need a bigger wrench. Whoever lined this last really wanted those to stay tight. Every now and then I catch a random drip out of the corner of my eye coming from the brake line. No way is that going to come out. Are you kidding me? That is amazing. This car has never actually been properly aligned. Do you know how I know that? It's because these little plastic clips in here are installed at the factory, and when you do a proper alignment on them, you knock these out so that you can make adjustments to the caster and camber. This truck still has them in it, which is remarkable. I don't know how many miles are on this truck, but I'm going to guess a lot. My eccentric cam bolt. That's seen better days, but it'll do just fine. Let's see if the front one will be as easy. That would be amazing. A truck from the Salt Belt in New York, and the upper control arm bolts that have never been loosened came out like butter. Well, that is amazing. Miracles. Miracles cease. Come on, girl, you're coming. There we go. Alright. Amazing. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave the factory plastics in there because it'll get me close to my base alignment going back together. Maybe. Or it'll be completely wrong. I don't know, but we're going to give that a shot. Let me go get my new upper control arm and my new lower ball joint and my half shaft, which I don't think is here yet, but I will go look. Put this in the press. Well, the air hammer was coming up a dud. The press it is. With the hopeful wind. Or not. Oh. Wow. Gonna break my press. 20 tons ain't gonna cut it. Bring on the heat, man.
win. It's really stinky. Let's let that cool down a little bit. Let's go ahead and put in our upper and our inner tie rod end.
being a pain. That one's one in. Where'd my nut go? Ah, nice. So I'm apparently going to need to get a bigger press because my 20-ton press would not push the half shaft out of the wheel bearing on this. So the customer and I discussed that, and he said to just basically run the, I'm just going to eliminate the intermediate shaft. The wheel bearing has to be held together with the nut and the outer shaft, but he's going to take this thing all apart when he gets home, so I don't have to charge him retail for a half shaft and a wheel bearing. I'm just going to put the wheel bearing back on with the outer stub bolted into the wheel bearing, and then put the ball joint in, put it back together. So we'll press our ball joint back in. Oh, this is hard on the old knees working on the ground. She sunk. So let's tighten up our upper control arm. We can put away our ball joint press. We're done with that. Be back in a minute. Let's see if we can get our brake line to come loose without destroying our line. That guy's not going to come free for me today, is it? Nope, it's broke. Luck's not on my side there. It's alright. I'm glad it happened here and not when he got back on the road. Alright. I need outer tie rod end. I need to put a little oil on here. I always lubricate my inner and outer tie rod ends because we are in the salt belt. It allows things to actually work better. Ooh, thank you, Jeff, for the rags. I'm making one heck of a mess over here. With that, let's make our brake line and get ready to hang our new, hang our old knuckle back up in here. So I'm trying to help these folks out, and I was originally going to pull a shaft out of here and just run them home with the hub in the wheel bearing, but the outer hub of the axle shaft needs to be out of the knuckle to get onto the ball joint, so that is counterproductive. As you saw earlier, I put 20 tons on the snout of this half shaft and it didn't release from the bearing. So I'm going to try and get the bearing out of the knuckle, and we'll put a bearing and a half shaft in it. That way when this guy gets home, he can just hook up his plow and go plowing and not have to work on his truck for a few hours fighting with this problem. So I'm gonna get creative and figure out how to separate this guy. Making me work today. Making me work for it. now I can put my knuckle on. I'm actually impressed it came apart.
Me too. That's why I came here. I was told you're the best, so that's why I came here.
I appreciate that. I don't win them all, but I certainly give it the old college try. Oh. Alright, wheel bearings on the way. Hardware looks good, so we're kind of home stretch at this point. So
Yeah, it looks that way.
I got to do the brake line yet, but I'll get this knuckle put in here and keep moving forward. Alright. See if we can sneak that half shaft in there. And then, more in then. It was in stock, so we're rolling with it.
Yes. Looks like you've done this a couple times.
Yeah, I've probably done this once or twice. Ooh, I'm gonna sleep well tonight. I'm gonna leave that loose until those are tight. Let's get those tightened up. It's amazing that Bilstein shock didn't get destroyed when that half shaft came out of there. That's crazy. Didn't even dent it. Impressive. Upper ball joint. Oh God, I gotta loosen those back up. There we go. Now we're cooking. Oh, I'm gonna have to change it before I get in my car tonight. I'm covered in nastiness. I'm gonna have to hold that guy, aren't I? Sometimes. You can just dangle like a monkey and get the So instead of holding the stud with the tool and turning this with a wrench, I put down pressure on the U-joint, sorry, not the U-joint, the ball joint, and the conical seat holds it from the pressure I'm applying to it, and then it can tighten up because that is a mechanically locking nut. They're supposed to be a one-time use, although they often get reused. Alright, let's put on our castle nut. You got castle nut for that guy. Where'd you go? Oh, I lost my nut again. Ooh, I'm getting tired and hungry. Getting hangry. Don't be mad at me for what I said when I was hungry. Not a 15/16. Those I really need to tighten when they're on the alignment rack, but I'm going to snug them back down now that I'm coming together. Tighten up my lower ball joint. And I have a cotter pin for him somewhere, or at least I did. There he is. Found him. This is exciting. I'm almost ready to make a brake line, I guess. So hopefully my bearing will show up here pretty soon. So, might as well make my brake line while I'm waiting for my hub to show up. And let's get that out of the way.
Like, I see my tires, they're sitting right here. I just need to pay for them.
I just need to pay for them and leave. Customer service, I tell ya.
It's so hard to find good help these days.
Hard to find anything. But hey, I'm getting closer. My wheel bearing just showed up. I had to put the wheel bearing. I put the knuckle in the press and gave it every bit of what that press has to give, which is 20 tons.
Yeah, it would press
I could not get the shaft out of the hub.
Wow.
And the shaft has to be loose from the knuckle to get the lower ball joint on. And I can't pick up 200 pounds of stuff and put it on anyway, but you know, individually it's not that big of a deal, but when they're all together, that's a heavy son of a gun.
Heavy PG-13 video.
Right, PG-13 video. Son of a biscuit.
Yeah. What did you plan on doing today? Hanging out all day?
I did not plan on doing this all day.
Come here. Probably not like this stuff.
See, now I can check that off my bucket list.
Right.
We appreciate you stopping by.
Sure you do.
It's always the last 20% that's the hardest to get done. Set my depth. First die. I need to add some lights over here on this side of the shop. Second die. And that flare looks like it'll work. That'll work. So I dug the fitting out of the old line fitting because I don't have any of these. And I am going to be crafty and just make a little jumper here. Multiple reasons, mostly because I don't want to make a one that goes all the way down under and back. My wheel bearing just came in, so I can stick that on here and feel like I'm making progress again. I started on this noon, something like that. This thing showed up today. Gotta have enough tube to work with. Oops, that's not what goes in there. I'm getting tired. Lock her down. First die, which gives me my bubble. Second die, which gives me my flare. And that is a double flare. That'll do. I've had a few different brake flaring tools over the years. This one is by far my favorite so far. Hopefully my last. I should probably sell the other one that I have. It's a nice unit, but I like this one better. So I use this one all the time now. Okay, let's throw that on the ground with gravity. Grab my bender, we'll throw a bend into this and make it fit. Then we can lock that down, we can hang our caliper and hub. Yay! That's what I'm looking for. Sorry, my battery went dead. I had to keep going because it's time to close and I'm not done yet. Tighten that down. I need to throw some grease in my grease fittings. Take my rotor holder off here. The brakes are bled. I need to throw some grease in the grease fittings real quick. And then it's time to put our tire on and move over to the alignment rack. Ooh. Well, they did have a spare with them. It's 10 years old. It came with the truck. Well, it fits. That's a bonus. I'm gonna sleep well tonight, boys. Tell you what. Well, sorry the battery died on the camera, so I wasn't able to get some of the footage in there. We ended up getting this thing done today. It's 7, almost 8 o'clock in the evening, Friday night. We stayed through the thick of it, got it done. The brake bleeding was a pain in the rumski. There was a lot of air in the system. It took an automated bleed along with two-man bleed to get this thing really sorted out. We've got a beautiful brake pedal now. The alignment's in check. The front wheels are held on. This thing actually is going to need an upper ball joint on the passenger side. Customer's going to take care of that probably as soon as he gets home. Hopefully he doesn't have the same failure as this side because it was brutal. They were very lucky. Vehicle inspections done by qualified mechanics are very important. I see cars on the side of the road with the ball joints popped all the time these days because a lot of people just roll through quickie change places. The wheels never leave the ground and everybody turns the radio up when they start hearing the suspension rattle. Really important to have safety inspections, have your ball joints checked, tire out ends, brakes, tires. Very important stuff, especially when you're taking long trips. At any rate, the good news is these guys are back on the road. They're heading to Rochester, New York. I think they're going to stop at a Longhorn Steakhouse and a hotel for the tonight. They've had a rough day. They deserve a beverage, a good meal, and a good night's rest. At any rate, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. Tell us what you think about these 2013 Chevy four-wheel drive trucks. This thing's a beast. 151,000 miles on it. Needs some maintenance, but it is what it is. You gotta make your vehicles work. They gotta do their jobs. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. We'll see you on the next one.
Did you think the story ended there? No, it didn't. So they took the truck, they went and had Longhorn, they had themselves a good night's sleep, and then Saturday morning, they were back over here to get the upper control arm on the other side and ball joint replaced. And Rich hunted down a tire so that we could put a good tire on the front of that thing so that they could get back to New York. And we can confirm they have arrived back in New York safe and sound. Everybody's good to go. So there you go. Kenny, we're going to put this one on your tab. I don't know what you're going to owe me for a bonus or for a favor out of this one, but you're probably going to owe Rich a lot more than you owe me. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Another good end to a good story. Appreciate you guys making it all the way through this. We'll see ya.